Well, g'day, good morning, and welcome to the channel. I'm super excited. I finally have the Canon R5 Mark II. I'm in the field, I'm going to try the camera out, I'm going to photograph some birds, some wildlife, and I'm just going to bring you along with me. Today's not a review, today is just me testing the camera and having a lot of fun. I need to take thousands of photos with this camera before I can give you a proper review. Alrighty, so the lens that I'm using today is the Canon 200-800. We've obviously got the R5 Mark II, so I've got 800mm of focal length, which is plenty. I'm excited to try out the eye tracking on this to see if it's improved over the R5. How's the pre-capture going to work? How's the buffer? These are all the things I really want to discover today and test this camera out, and then I'll obviously look at the photos later on. All right, let's go look for some birds. So I've just spotted what I think are hooded plovers down on the water's edge. I think there's 4 of them. I can just see the movement. So we don't have any light at the moment, but I might get down low and start working my way towards them, and hopefully they'll come to me. That's the goal. So what I might do is I've got my ground pod set up. I've showed this many times. I've got a ground pod, a gimbal, and I've got the 200-800 and the R5 on top. So this is probably how I'll do it, and I'll just lay down on the water's edge. That's what I'm thinking. The sun's going to come from this way, so as long as I'm on this side of the birds, we should be good. So I'm an idiot. I've got my Ninja. I'm going to record the viewfinder, but I forgot that the R5II has a large HDMI, and I've only got a small HDMI for the R5, so I'm not going to be able to record the viewfinder, which is annoying, but I'll definitely record it in the future. So double check, it's my fault. Oh. I'm laying down low and I can see the hooded plovers. And I just want them to come towards me. There's one male here. Oh, there's 3 of them. There's 3 of them. So I have no light at all. So I'm just going to shoot very high ISO. So we've got 3 birds here. Oh, this bird's coming towards us. Oh, this is beautiful. This bird's coming very close. The autofocus is sticking to the bird. I can't believe it. That was amazing, absolutely incredible. The weather's terrible, but I couldn't be happier. Exactly what I wanted to happen happened, and I've talked about this before. I've got nice and low, I've just laid here. They have a feeding behaviour where they sort of feed along the water's edge, and they've come right up towards me, and we've got pretty much full frame shots. Now, because the light's so low, unfortunately this lens is an f9, which means we have to use quite high ISO, and I was at about ISO 6400, which is very high, so I'm going to be interested to see how the R5II cleans those files up. One thing I've noticed about pre-capture straight away is it's not activated by the back AF on button. You have to half depress the shutter button. That's not a major, just means that you half depress the shutter and you get a little icon pop up saying pre-shooting, and then when you depress the shutter, it's a Sooty Oystercatcher. He's followed by 2 hooded plovers. Hopefully he keeps coming towards us. Autofocus is tracking beautifully. He's just spotted me. That didn't want anything to do with me. All right. That Sooty Oystercatcher didn't want anything to do with me. This water's getting a little bit close. Definitely don't want to get wet. All right, let's move. So we've got Sooty Oystercatchers feeding on some worms here. So we managed to get those Sooty Oystercatchers feeding, which was pretty cool. They got some worms and there's some on the rocks. So I'm just going to try and see how we go about getting some shots on the rocks here. Just going to take a wide berth, give them a bit of space. All right. Oh, that was awesome. So I just want to take a minute of your time to let you know about fellow YouTuber Jeremy. He runs the Wilder channel. His annual wildlife photography competition is now open. Entries close on the 22nd of September. If you've not heard about this competition before, it's a unique one. It's judged live on YouTube by a panel of very experienced photographers who love wildlife, love birds, etc. And it's got a number of different categories. It's got portrait, it's got creative, it's got birdscape, it's got macro, it's even got one for brand new photographers. So if you've just got into wildlife photography, this could be an opportunity for you to submit your images and go in the draw to win, I think, from $5,000 worth of prizes, $1,000 for the grand prize. There's second and third prizes. I highly encourage you to visit his website. It's got all the rules, it's got all the prizes, and of course it's got all the photos that won last year, so you can get some inspiration on what to look for. For me, I would be submitting anything that's unique, that's different, maybe some wide habitat stuff. I highly encourage you, if you like competitions, have a go with this one, and I can't wait to see the images, and good luck if you do enter. So I've just spotted a cormorant on a rock, and it's ages away, but I think we might be able to create an interesting wide habitat shot. I think we might have just got a really cool shot. So there's a cormorant on a rock and it's a fair way off. So I've tried to get a more wide habitat type shot, and it sort of opened its wings and it's flew off this rock. We've got the ocean behind, the cliffs. I'm really hoping that worked out. That's what I'm going for, you know, these more interesting habitat type shots. So fingers crossed that worked out. I've walked a fair way down the beach, so I better go and get my gear. Got the hooded plovers coming back. All right, so the hooded plovers are walking this way. So if I go and lay down here, hopefully I'll get them as they're coming around. Okay, so we've got hooded plovers on the rocks. They're a little bit far away, but I'm hoping they'll work their way towards us. Absolutely incredible. Oh wow, it's just stunning. So I've just had an amazing session with those hooded plovers. It just couldn't have gone any better. I just laid down, they came towards me, we got some on the sand, we got some side by the rocks, and to its credit, I haven't hit the buffer, and I thought the buffer would be an issue. Has not been an issue so far. Again, 20 frames per second. I've even got pre-capture on, and I don't think I've hit the buffer yet. It seems to be clearing very fast. That's amazing, that's awesome. Overall, just having an absolute blast. I'm just gonna go for a walk and see if I can find something else to photograph, but so far, having an absolute, oh, it's just awesome. Love it. And it's just such a beautiful spot, and there's literally nobody else here. It's just me and the birds and my camera and you with me. Awesome. All right, let's go try and find some birds. Oh, just as I say that, a little pied cormorant's just landed on this rock over here. I'm not sure if we can make anything of that. We'll see if we can make a shot out of this. And just give you an example of how your height and distance, etc. will change it. So just standing here, there's a cormorant that's just landed on this rock over here. So let's just take a shot. I'm at 800 mil. It's just cleaning, preening. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down to the water's edge and see if we can create a better looking composition. So I was just going for a much wider shot, just to include the waves and the hills in the background. All right. I don't know if that worked, but we'll see how that turned out, whether I could get a good shot or not. So one additional thing I forgot to mention was the battery life. It's been extremely good. I only got one battery with the camera and it's lasted me the entire session. It's just died now, so it's probably what, 2 to 3 hours and thousands of photos. And speaking of photos, because of the pre-capture, I've taken over 10,000 photos in the last 2 days, which is a lot of photos to go through, and that's the issue with pre-capture and high FPS. We do just take a lot of photos, so we need to have really good memory cards, and so I use pro-grade memory cards. There's a link in the description with a discount if you're in the US to help you with those cards. All right, so I've had a look around and I couldn't find anything else to photograph, so that's going to bring my session to an end. I've had a lot of fun. I hope you've enjoyed it. Now, I did use it a little bit yesterday as well. Last night I came down with a mate and we actually had a bit of fun, and we did photograph some double banded plovers. I haven't found them this morning, but they were here last night and we got some amazing shots. All right, so what are my overall impressions so far? They're pretty good. I've only obviously used it a couple of times, but the biggest things for me is the buffer is drastically improved over the R5, and that's just fantastic. I like the audible feedback. That's really good. There's no rolling shutter, obviously, because we've got a stack sensor, so we're not going to get any warps or wobbles. That's awesome. The autofocus, it seems to be faster than the R5, definitely going onto the subject and finding the subject. It's tracking really well. Unfortunately, I did have a few issues with it finding the rocks and losing the subject a few times. So I'm not sure what that's about. I'll have to keep investigating that. But it's definitely not perfect, but it's definitely improved over the R5. Pre-shooting, absolutely love having pre-shooting. Having a working pre-shooting is fantastic. Now, I did complain in my last video that I want to be able to adjust the pre-shooting, and I still do, but it's just really, really good to have. The viewfinder's nice and bright. There's no blackout when we're shooting, which is great. Now, there's two things that happen that I want to mention, and hopefully they don't continue to happen. First one is I switched to video and I went to hit record and it just said busy. just kept saying busy. It wouldn't let me actually record any video. I don't know why that is. I went back to photos, took a few photos, went back, and then it worked. And the next disappointing thing is the camera did actually brick out on me. It just crashed and was unresponsive, and I had to take the battery out, put the battery back in. So I don't know what's caused that. That's disappointing. I hope that doesn't continue to happen, but I'm just sharing my real world experience of what actually happened on my very first shoot. I did shoot a little bit of video, and the video autofocus seems much improved over the R5, so I'm very happy with that. In terms of this lens, it's working well. I like to have that 200 to 800. 800 is a good focal length. I took some wide stuff, we took some up close stuff. Hopefully the detail holds up. Absolutely loved my session here. Yeah, just a happy place. I wish I could get to the ocean more. Look, if you've got some questions about the R5II, leave them in the comments. What are your thoughts so far if you've got it? I'm going to be doing a lot more content with this camera, so subscribe if you haven't already. Give us the thumbs up, and until the next video, happy birding, take care, see you later.